Welcome to Week 5 Programming Lab number 5. This is Clark Ngo, and let's get started. And this Week 5, we need to write a C++ program to implement the number guessing game. In this game, the computer chooses a random number between 1 and 10, and no, it's 100, and the player tries to guess the number in as few attempts as possible. Each time the player enters a guess, the computer tells him whether the guess is too high, too low, or too right. Once the player guesses the number, the game is over. So I'm gonna skip through ahead. I'll give the video resources later, and project location is in GitHub, Module 5. I've mentioned this many times about the setup for both Mac and Windows. To use this file, you just do a run build task, compile it, and then now you can run it by using the following with Mac and Windows. Okay, for the project requirements, C++ programming language, the best language ever. The file structure in this time around, I've tried to use the three separate files. One is the header file, an implementation file, and where the main program resides. So I would have the guess.h as the header file and guess.cpp as my implementation file. For the UI requirements, there were really no requirements, but we should have a user input in console and print output in the console as well. For the program flow, we would execute the main program, initialize a JSON game object. We run a JSON game object using the function run. Then it would include a message prompt to say the computer picked a number, and now you should try to enter a number. Now, we would keep asking user input if it does not meet the input validation, meaning it's not a number, or if it's a wrong guess, meaning it's not within the range of 1 to 100. So if it's higher than the computer's number, which is the winnings number, it will prompt the users too high to give it a clue. And if it's lower than the winning number the computer picked, it will prompt the user too low. If the user input matches the winning num, they'll be given a very nice ASCII prompt, you win, and a happy emoji. Okay. For my lessons learned, I was messing with ternary operators and trying to return a Boolean value, and I got this error. It says expression result unused. Warning, control reaches end of non-void function. This basically just means I tried creating a function bool, return type bool named is winner, and I was trying a ternary operator, but look at this statement. I did not put any return function. At first, I was putting the return true and then return false. Totally wrong. It should be at the front. The return should be at the front. For those who doesn't know ternary operators, basically it needs three statements or arguments. Correct me if I'm wrong. First is the statement. This one is player num if it's matching or equal to the winning num, and question mark. After the question mark, you would now have the if it's true, what it would do something else. In this case, I would return true, and then on the right hand side of this column would return the false, which I put false boolean value as well. For future improvements, I would have the set player num setter functions to require a parameter, and maybe try to use a try catch block. And during the last week's classroom session, I've learned it's important to just put cons in your getter function, because you don't want the x or the variable inside to be changed. So better put that protection. And then we put the cons just before the function block, so this one doesn't get changed. Okay, just to note that calling a non-const within a const function will throw an error. Okay, then let's go see the files. And in this folder, you would see again the configuration files. This is the header file, and I included a private member variable winning num, which is what the computer would pick randomly. The private member variable of player num, what the player's input is, the user, the human. For the public members, you would have a method called, constructor, guessing game, and a setter to set the player num. This would ask the user's input, getters to get the player num. Okay, you would also have a boolean type of function to check if the user is a winner or not, and also the void run function to run the guessing game program. Okay, now for the implementation of those, it would be in guess.cpp. As you can see at the top, we need this time.h header so that I get access to the random API of C++, and I need to put a seed, srand time null. This is to have a true randomness, or I'll keep having the same numbers. Okay, and now this is just trying to initialize winning them and assign a value of rand modulus 100 plus 1. This is basically the range you would get 1 to 100 numbers. Okay, for the setter function, it would have the input variable, and it would prompt the users to enter a number for 1 to 100, and this one would grab the user's input with the cin. Now it will enter a while loop if cn dot fails, meaning if it's not an integer, or if the input is less than 1, or if the input is greater than 100. So this is the input data validation, and this is if the user gets it wrong, meaning it's not within the range of the guessing game. Okay, and then we need to have this cn.clear to clear the previous input, and cn.ignore. This is to clear the buffer so that the system would know that the cn is empty. Okay, clear the input of the user. Now we would prompt again the enter a number from 1 to 100, and cn get the user input again. I tried doing this with the do while loop, but I had some problems with fence-fo, so it's better to do this for now. And then if all validation is good, let's just assign the input to the player num data member variable. Okay, for the getters, very easy. You just return the player num. For the guessing game is winner function. Again, the ternary operator, you have the player num. If it's equal to the computer guess number, which is the winning num, let's return true. If it's true, let's return false. If it's false. So for the guessing game run function, it will prompt the users. The computer would say, let's play a game. I have chosen a number between 1 to 100. Are you able to guess what is the number? And now we should start setting the player number. And now this would go inside and ask the user input and do the data validation. And now we would have an infinite loop here, while this one is the bang operator. It just negates, meaning if it's true, it will make it false. So while is winner is returning false, keep looping and do this. So this is if the user is putting an input within 1 to 100, but it does not match what the computer picked. So again, if the player's number is higher than the computer picked number, we'll say too high. If it's the other way around, too low, meaning if it's less than. And if it's equal, you just do a break. So you get to exit out the statement. I think this should be unnecessary. So I'll try to run this without this. Let's see if I'm correct on that actually. And again, if it's not within that one, oh no, I need this to get out of the loop, I think. And then if I don't get that one, keep asking for the user's input. Okay, let's try this first because it did not break, and it says if it does not break, don't break it. And if we get out of the loop, we assume that we pick the correct number and we get this beautiful ASCII. So let's go ahead and run the program. So I run it, build and compile. Now let's try to run it. Okay, here's the prompt. Chosen number 1 to 100. Are you able to guess the number? Let's try first the data input validation. I accidentally entered the P. And okay, still locking me there. Now let's try to input a number out of range. So let's say 1000, and then, oh, okay, shoot, still wrong. And let's do 5. Too low. Let's go with a binary search. Let's go with 50 first. Too high. So now I go to the left. Okay, let's do another binary search. Divide by 2, 25. Too low. Okay, let's go higher then. What's between that? I guess it's 40. Somewhere there. Too low. Let's make it in between 40 and 25. Trying just to guess, maybe 33. It's still too low. Oh shoot, I should go higher actually. So let's do 45. Still too low. Let's go 47. You win! And then I got that cute emoji. If I try to do this, let's try to break it. Let's see. Nope. Do this. Let's try to clear this out first. And do this. Let's try this. 50. No, too high. 25. Too high. And then now 15. Too low. 20. Too low. 20. Let's go 23. Too high. 22. Too high. 21. You win. So that was an unnecessary else block, I would say. Okay. So if that's the case, maybe we can try removing this. Let's try that again. Compile. And let's clear this. Run the program again. Let's do the binary search thing. 50, too low. Let's go there. 50, 75, too low. Let's go upper. Let's see. 85. It's still too low. 90, too high. Okay, we're almost there. 87. You win. Awesome. Now this game is now playable. Feel free to download the code and play it, improve it, do whatever you want. Thank you.